Hi there and welcome to Radio Free Scientology, the broadcast that brings you the truth about what is happening in Scientology today. This is the review for February 2008. There is much talk of the protests scheduled to take place at the same time as Scientologists around the world will celebrate L. Ron Hubbard's birthday, March the 15th. Frankly, Scientologists everywhere are very worried after the protests in February. Before the events of February the 10th, Scientologists were uncertain what to expect. They expected the worst and, for the most part, they got worse than they expected. It became apparent early on that far from a small band of people protesting in a few isolated areas, that the protests of February the 10th were a highly organised operation involving thousands of people worldwide. The news went out and orgs around the world began battening down the hatches. Unfortunately, however, they were unable to prevent a single protest taking place and not a single protester was arrested. They did get a lot of pictures, but there were so many of them that it was impossible to mount operations against all of them, and it was impossible to identify the ringleaders. Meanwhile, 3 Scientologists were arrested during the protests. In the orgs themselves, Scientologists are beginning to question the COB, even at the risk of an SP declare. Why is the COB no longer an effective leader? Why has he interpolated the public and pulled in Scientology's ruin? Many ordinary Scientologists are beginning to wonder if the COB is in fact an SP who is destroying the church they love. Many are thinking of leaving even though they're afraid. Some are thinking of going to the Freezone, somewhere to resume their quest for personal improvement away from the stress that now exists within Scientology. They wonder why so many of the orgs are empty so much of the time. They wonder why the truth becomes old news or natter. Certainly the critics, many of whom left Scientology and joined the Freezone, agree that COB is the problem. Many of these critics reached OT8 in Scientology or were in senior Sea Org leadership posts. Even the higher-ups still in Scientology, the OT8s and management, have their concerns. They thought the OSA could limit and handle Operation Clambake, Alt Religion Scientology and the other internet sites. However, they are coming to realise that they cannot handle the internet, and especially the scale of the legal protests mounted by Anonymous. Scientologists are also confused because they know that reality is a function of agreement, but it is becoming increasingly clear that the agreement has shifted to the critics and away from Scientology. They now wonder if the critics know very important data that COB and the OSA are withholding from them. Many long-term Scientologists are coming to realise that life is worse for them now as a Scientologist than it was 5 or 10 years ago. Yet while they have this point of view, they cannot communicate it because it is a crime. It only adds to their frustration and confusion. LRH said that what is true for you is true for you. Yet COB won't let them have what is true for them be true for them. Instead, he makes them accept his outpoints as the truth. All in all, no one knows what to expect in March, but there is a general feeling of interpolation and fear, and all the time the COB is silent. This has been a broadcast by Radio 3 Scientology, February 2008.